5 seconds to go. Start. Where Government of India is concerned, there have been reforms to bolster arbitration. They include amendments to the Arbitration Act and the establishment of arbitration institutions which have contributed to administering proceedings, providing institutional support, and the subject matter today a panel of qualified arbitrators. The promotion of institutional arbitration has seen the judiciary encouraging parties to opt for institutional arbitration over ad hoc arbitration, emphasizing the benefits of institutional support and oversight in ensuring a fair and efficient resolution process. While arbitration has deep roots in India, its contemporary practice is still evolving, and I thought today there were two important points made, one by the Solicitor General and the other by the Attorney General. The AG actually spoke of the arbitration bar as reflective of a Make in India emphasis to it, that we should not think of Make in India as simply a concept or a practice associated with the manufacturing world. I think it has dimensions in every aspect of national growth and development. And what we have gathered here to do is in many ways is about making India where arbitration is concerned. So, arbitrate in India is actually a facet of Make in India. The important point that the SG made was that it is not enough to be the venue, our striving should be to become the preferred seat, and that obviously will take a lot of work. I refer to my own experiences out of Singapore, and again I think that we have gathered here to do is an intrinsic step, a necessary step in that direction. So let me conclude by saying this. India is today poised to make crucial decisions about its future. There is a foundation of a decade of transformation on which we are seeking to build a pathway for the next 25 years. Our goal is Viksit Bharat, that is developed India. This will not only have economic metrics but an all round development that would include quality of life, ease of doing business, deep national strengths, technology capabilities, a larger role in the international economy, but not least the institutions, the infrastructure, and the talent that would actually define Viksit Bharat. It will certainly be a nation that will see more intensive and consequential economic activities at home and abroad. The requirement to harmonize, mediate, and settle differences and disputes will be even more as we progress on that journey towards Viksit Bharat. The legal world will also make its expected contribution to the evolution of Viksit Bharat. I believe that the inauguration of the Arbitration Bar of India is one noteworthy step in that direction. I congratulate you all for joining me on this occasion. Thank you for your attention. First of all, let me say what a great pleasure it is to be with you on such an important occasion, and that too as you are concluding your deliberations. I am sure the last few days have been very productive, and my endeavor today would be to try and fit such thoughts as you may have into the state of the world and what we, all of us, could do to take India forward. So, the topic I had requested Mr. Panda was to allow me to speak on going towards Viksit Bharat. We are all of us today meeting at a very important juncture because we have entered the Amrit Kal. We are also at the end of a decade of the Modi government. We have made big decisions, but clearly we are poised to make many more. We have nursed big ambitions. We have implemented much of what we had promised, but again, there are still a lot that we have to achieve. So, to me, Viksit Bharat it is both a vision to achieve as well as a set of specific goals, and the short description of it would be really how to make India a developed country in the next 25 years. Let me start with the domestic side. I think all of you would agree that while much has happened, much good has happened, the fact is also that the last decade has been quite tough. It was tough because we began it a decade ago with a lot of economic cleanup that was necessary, especially on the banking side. I think in many ways, faith in governance, faith in the business climate, faith in a desire to invest, I think all of that was flagging a decade ago. Some of it was the slow pace of change. Some of it was also that in our own minds we were still comparing the pre reform period to the post reform period, whereas we had actually done 20 years of reform, and our standards of comparison, our benchmarking should have been something else. Now, as we reached the midpoint of the last decade, we of course experienced a once in a century happening, the COVID pandemic. Now, I do not think anybody would dispute that amongst all of us today in the room, it would be the most scarring memory that we will carry for the rest of our lives. But as someone who has traveled even during COVID and has traveled after COVID and had seen how other societies dealt with it, I can say with a lot of pride and with a lot of justification that India actually came out of COVID strong, that we were able to respond to it, and we were able to respond to it in an amazing way, because I remember as part of the group of ministers, we were five, six of us who were tasked with dealing with COVID, and the first few weeks and months, I mean, I cannot even describe to you the feeling when you realize that you actually do not have that ability to deal with what is coming. Since as COVID receded, in fact, it was not just the bounce back, the social, the psychological bounce back that we saw. We also saw actually a very fast return to very robust economic growth, and the transformation which began a decade ago, that transformation once again picked up stem. I will talk about it, and we have seen really today the last quarter. I think the growth figures speak for themselves, but that is not the only index to judge how we are doing. And I would say with all objectivity that today, when we look around the world, no question that, and again, just today, come back from a destination abroad, no question that the world looks at us as an exceptionally strong area of growth. Stop.